Allah's beloved last prophet, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, clearly told us that the example of believers, of Muslimin, is like a body. When one part hurts, the other part aches as well. So this year, when you end 2024, which is the conventional year, right? And you start with all the candles, with all the blowing horns and the parties and yelling and screaming, Happy New Year and everything. Remember how many screams are happening in Gaza, how many screams are happening in Sudan, how many screams are happening in Afghanistan, how many screams are happening in Pakistan. Everywhere the believers are being hurt. Everywhere the believers are being tortured. Everywhere the believers are being raped. Everywhere the believers are being killed, butchered, sentenced, and overpowered. And if we yell and scream at the end of this conventional year and call it a Happy New Year, we must remember that we are forgetting them. We must remember that we are not doing our part enough to think about them. We are not doing our part enough to actually make dua for them. We are not doing our part enough to actually think about them. We are not doing our part enough to raise their voice to the rest of the world, for the rest of the world to think, ponder, and to come together. We need to remember that this year will go, and we might not outlive to live another 2026. But this year, make it count. This year, if there is a resolution kind of thing you want to make for 2024 ending and the beginning of 2025, make it count. Make it actually count as a believer. So the Prophet, the beloved last Prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when he sees you on Judgment Day, he smiles at you, yet yes, your heart was aching. You were aching like a body of believers. You were aching because other parts of the body was hurting, and you were equally bothered about them. You are equally hurt for them. You are equally thinking about them. At the very least, the lowest level of Iman is to think bad about them. And justice. Remember this and keep raising voice for the oppressed and the ruptured ones.